Yes, welcome back to Footy Classified. It's time to touch base with two of the biggest names in the game. Let's get into our footy forum. Stephen Coniglio is the captain of Greater Western Sydney. Stephen, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
And Geoff Walsh is the head of football at the Collingwood Football Club. Geoff, appreciate your time. We might start with you. It felt like today, with the announcement from the Premier Daniel Andrews, that we are moving closer to a return date. Are you starting to get more clarity at Clubland?
Oh, not so much clarity around the details, Sam, but certainly, yeah, very encouraged to know that it's closer than it's been for the last 7 weeks. So I'm sure our players and staff are keen to know that, and I suppose the next 24, 48 hours will give us the absolute clarity on exact dates.
Stephen, how tough has it been being a first-time captain in isolation? And what have you done different? What have you been doing to keep all your teammates engaged?
Oh, look, I think for anyone in any profession, it's obviously had its obstacles. I mean, I think initially everyone was trying to figure out what was the best sort of formula to keep everyone engaged, whether it be with staff, with football staff, or admin, or with the playing group. So we've pretty much just broken it down, and we're probably doing maybe a little bit too much initially, and then just scaled it back a little bit on Tuesdays. We typically catch up in groups of 4, just using Zoom and just check in with each other, and then Friday we have a call with Leon and Jason McCartney and the whole playing group. And originally it was about football, and after about 2 weeks we found that we're not going to be playing obviously for a long time, and we need some different content just to keep the guys engaged and still having fun.
So that was what was doing too much? Just too much footy talk?
Or just... No, a little bit of, probably a little bit of footy talk, but you always because you're so used to spending close to 40 hours, maybe more a week, you have so much content, and then it just changes, and you're actually not at the club, and we're having a lot of meetings, and trying to figure out what's actually the best to still give guys their space away from the club, and have a rest while they can, but it's more just around the content, what we show, and what we actually talk about when we do catch up.
And Geoff, you're trying to keep together a football department, many of whom don't know if they're going to have jobs at the end of this month, let alone at the end of the year. How tough has that been for you, not knowing?
Yeah, well, look, it obviously the uncertainty of the whole landscape is tough on players and staff, Carolyn. And, I think once we get some certainty around numbers on soft caps and player list sizes and those types of things that are crucial to assembling your footy department going forward, and trying to retain as many of your people as you can, they're the sorts of numbers that are crucial. And you're right, when you're in the absence of those numbers, there's a fair bit of uncertainty, as I'm sure is the same across all 18 clubs.
Geoff, what have you found as your biggest challenge as a head of footy throughout this time?
Oh, look, I think what you really underestimate until you're faced with this is the actual face-to-face contact, the up close and personal relationships that players and staff, player to player, player to staff to staff have. When you're robbed of that, and pretty much 99% of your contact is over like Zoom meetings or WebEx or on screens, I think you come to value just the personal relationships that footy clubs are so good at building, and you certainly miss that. So that's been one of the hardest adjustments, I'm sure.
So, Steve, by the time you go back and play, it will have been a long time for you between drinks, one game in well over a year. Have you started to think about, do you think about leadership differently now than you might have even thought about it 2 months ago or 3 months ago when you took over as captain?
Not really. I think I still definitely have the same intentions, and my style won't waver. If anything, if we do have to go with if we do have less coaches or less staff, for instance, I I guess as a whole playing group, whether it be your captain or senior members, may have to take a bit more of that slack. But for me personally, it hasn't wavered or changed. I think there's been a lot of uncertainty in the last couple of months. Obviously, myself only playing that one game in such a long time, but it's actually been personally a refreshing break, and one that our players have actually really liked while keeping fit at the same time.
Stephen, Geoff spoke a little earlier about the uncertainty of dealing with staff. There's also a fair bit of uncertainty when it comes to players and their contracts. You recently signed a lengthy 7-year deal. Have you had conversations with the club or with your management about if that could potentially change with what's happened with COVID-19?
Well, yeah, if I went to Melbourne, Tim, it might have been front loader, and I would have lost a hell of a lot more. But no, I think for the conversations around that pay stuff initially, it was tough on guys, particularly whether that be with families or struggling sort of with rent or whatnot. There's a lot of uncertainty over that, and the guys probably just wanting answers as to what it looks like for either their mortgages or rent that they're paying here in Sydney. People that are originally from interstate, so it was probably more around that uncertainty, which everyone was after, and quite frankly, we just didn't have the answers at that point.
And Geoff, you sit on a few of the AFL's committees. I understand you're on a committee with the 6 coaches who were told last Thursday that the AFL was looking at lengthy suspensions for players who transgress social distancing rules. Are you surprised that Adelaide got off as lightly as they did?
Oh, look, at the risk of commenting on other clubs, I think it was fairly clear, just from an observer's point of view, that it was more a mistake or a maybe a miscalculation. I don't think there was anyone who was consciously or willingly trying to break rules. And I think we're in such an uncertain time that there's no precedent for these sorts of things. And I'm sure the Adelaide club, as a demonstrator, quite remorseful about what happened. And as I say, I think you just put it down to a simple mistake, because it's such an uncertain time that there are no rules or, as I said before, no precedents for this sort of stuff.
Geoff, another veteran footy boss, Neil Baum, said on this show a few weeks ago that he was worried the AFL was going to cut too deep, and that anything certainly under $6 million for footy department spending would be damaging to the game and was over the top. Are you worried that the AFL are going to overcorrect?
Well, I think we've discussed, on a number of occasions with the AFL what we think, is a tipping point in terms of damaging the quality of the game, damaging the product that the players and the football programs put out on the ground each week. So we've made, from a club point of view and representing clubs, we've made the AFL quite aware of that opinion. But at the same time, we also understand that the financial landscape going forward and we're currently looking at has never ever been experienced before. So we're also quite willing to work with that horrible fact that it is something we've never faced before. And it's just a matter of finding a balance, I think, to enable the game to continue to grow, to enable the game to continue to go forward, and at a minimum cost to our people and their environment.
Geoff, we know it must be a busy time to be in charge of a football department. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Carol.
And Stephen, good luck in round 2 against whoever and whenever that may be.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the chat.